What's up, y'all? This is Nightmare Ball of One, Markeem, and this is an edition of the Blue Moon Extra. I had a big show planned, but I'm just out of it, man. I'm just out of it, man. Life has been kicking my ass. I got a bunch of stuff going on with me financially, physically. I'm just tired. I was gonna go through my top 10 albums of the year. I'll probably do that maybe the top of next year. Um, but I'll worry about that later. What I really wanted to talk about is the MCU because they dropped the trailer that Steve Rogers, like if you saw Avatar, you already saw the trailer, but Steve Rogers will return to the MCU in Avengers Doomsday a whole year away. It was a well shot trailer, well made trailer. Did his job, I think, to the slow reveal, the way it kind of built tension and stuff. It's a good trailer, but that's not the point. That's not the point. This all feels like desperation. My boy Chase said it the best. This all feels like desperation because their projections for the MCU have fell short. And my thing is that this thing should have always changed. The MCU, right? Comic books are based on comic books. And people can say, well, comic books are different from film. Comic books are different from film. Bullshit. The ones that y'all love the most are the ones that are very, very close to the comics, by the way. So keep that in mind while I go through this, right? Everybody loves Avengers Infinity War and Endgame. Guess what that is? Infinity Gauntlet. And other than Thanos' motivations, because in the comic he's trying to appease Lady Death. In this one, he's wiping out half the universe. The concept is the same. Purple Man looking for fucking rocks that can help him get the highest power in the universe, snap his fingers, and then everything changes. Same fucking concept. So when motherfuckers tell me that comics and movies are different, yes, as a straight up medium, they are different. But all of the ones y'all love are based very closely on the comics. So listen to me because I know what I'm talking about. Let me get that rant out the way. One thing about comic books, right? They changed, right? They changed. So the Marvel Cinematic Universe, right? What made it work is that these movies at the time were very innovative. They were very fun. And plus it played out almost like a television series where people watched all the movies because they felt like episodes to the bigger puzzle, which ended up being Avengers Endgame, right? And at that point, that was the apex in terms of popularity for this franchise, right? Because this is the culmination of the 10 years of the episodes that they built up with all these characters. See, and that's the issue. You've gotten to the end of the series. The end, right? You do not need people are talking about, reboot, all that stuff. Yeah, okay, fine, whatever. But, because eventually, there are going to be different people to play these characters. There's going to be a different Iron Man. Like Robert Downey Jr. will not be Iron Man again. There's going to be a different Steve Rogers at some point because Chris Evans is in his 40s. I think he's like close to 50 now. And you know what I'm saying? Eventually there'll be a different Thor because they are properties, they are characters. It's like people fail to wrap their head around that like, because these characters are newer to cinema than, let's say, a Batman or a Superman, people can't wrap their head behind the fact that eventually different people will play these people. Different people will play that's just how it works. What they should have done is what comics has always done. Like me and Josh, we talk about the golden era of comic books, right? Like back in the late 80s, early 90s, comics were at their all-time high. People buying single issues. X-Men #1 broke, pop culture. You know what I mean? One of the highest selling, I think it still is the highest selling single issue of a comic book ever made. You know what I mean? But one thing that comics always did, even now for better or worse, is that they always change with the times. They always fucking evolve and they change. There was a point in time where Marvel and DC were obsessed with events. event after event after event. Everybody got to team up and then punch motherfuckers in the face. And, it was a novel idea for Secret War. It was a novel, Secret Wars, excuse me, the original Secret Wars. It was a novel idea for Crisis on Infinite Earths. It was a novel idea for, these events like that. Infinity Gauntlet, if you want to use that. 0 Hour, if you want to go back to DC. It was a novel idea for stuff like that. But then it got to the point where we entered what was known as event fatigue. And comic books had to adapt. They had to adapt. And the MCU should have done the same thing because the series finale happened. You know what I mean? Kevin Feige, the stubborn man, had his hand on everything, carefully mapped out every single detail and every single turn that this franchise went in. And I love a lot of those movies. Don't get me wrong. I love a lot of them. I love more of them than I don't. I'm actually in the camp that, I'm a little more lenient on a lot of these comic book movies because I come from the time and era where these things were the dirt worst. Dolph Lundgren as the Punisher, Jonah Hex, what's another fucking Elektra, Bane as a dumbass, shit like that. So I'm a little more because I grew up loving these characters and loving these comics that I seen the dark times. So I'm a little more lenient. But I will not give them a pass for not adjusting the mission statement of this universe. Because the whole thing before was building to this end point, right? Now is the time you adjust. And let me explain how all they had to do to adjust. Kang the Conqueror didn't work for whatever reason. We can talk about whatever, right? But he should have been a piece of a segment of the Marvel Universe. The Marvel Universe now should be completely segmented, and I'll explain. There should be four or five, follow me. There should be different quadrants of the Marvel Universe now. Like these things should be inherently separate from each other, right? Because comics did the same thing. And when the event bubble burst, comics did the exact same thing. There should be a section of Marvel where it's tech villains, tech characters with tech problems. Advanced idea mechanics should be like an actual thing, a big part of the fucking universe. You know what I mean? Motherfuckers that are trying to dictate the direction of technology in the Marvel Universe. That should be one segment of the MCU. Another segment should be the street level characters, like what we're seeing in Daredevil Born Again, what the new Spider-Man seems to be. Jessica Jones is back in Daredevil Born Again. Motherfuckers like that. People laughing like, haha, Finn Jones was terrible. But like him and Luke Cage should be a part of this and all that stuff. And keep them as segmented as possible away from everything else. Then you have the fucking mysticism side of it. The magicians, the uncanny and things like that. Doctor Strange, Mother Voodoo. Even characters like maybe Blade. Ebony Blade, Black Knight, characters like Black Knight and fucking Werewolf by Night and Elsa Bloodstone and all these characters just in this little section of the mysticism side of the Marvel Universe. Then the political side of the Marvel Universe. Sam Wilson. And they're kind of trying to do this. The way the Thunderbolts kind of fit into that. Things like that, like have this side of the MCU. And then last and certainly not least, let's see, is the cosmic side. The cosmic side is motherfuckers like Thor, the remainder of the Guardians of the Galaxy, things like that. And have each one of these segments of their universe have their own event that they lead to. So you don't have to get the idea, and then also lower the budget of all of this stuff. The big blockbuster, blah blah blah. It's gone. It's the ship has sailed. The generic comedy that all these characters on screen interacting. Let's riff off each other. That's gone. Each one of these things that I brought up should all feel inherently different. The formula worked for so long, but we've seen the formula. We've seen it. We've seen the formula. Now the tech side of it should look different. The street level side should feel different. The the mysticism side should feel different, and the cosmic side should feel different, and the political side should feel different. It all should be a different. You know it's all in the same universe, but it all feels like a different thing. That's how it should be. That's how literally every single thing should be. If you don't like this side of the Marvel universe, this side is for you. If you don't like this side is for you. Kind of like fucking comics. There was a point in time where I did not enjoy the cosmic side of Marvel. I was not reading Silver Surfer. I was not reading Fantastic Four. I was not reading Guardians of the Galaxy and Thor and Beta Ray Bill going all around the world. I forget what that's called. When Thor was going through his personality crisis. I wasn't reading that stuff. But you know what I did like? Daredevil, Heroes for Hire, Spider-Man, Punisher. I was reading that. I was reading that shit. I was reading the Mystic stuff. I was reading shit like Moon Knight, and Doctor Strange, and motherfuckers like and Brother Voodoo. I was reading that. I was reading the political stuff at one point, but I wasn't necessarily reading Iron Man. Do you get what I'm saying? And that changed for me. That changed for me through the years. And that's all they had to do. Just segment this stuff instead of trying to build to this thing that can get you your next $1 billion payday. Because newsflash, those times are gone. Y'all had y'all moment in the sun. It's time to readjust and redo what you do. Kevin Feige has to take his hands off all this shit and let the creators fucking create. You had Chloe Zhao direct a movie. She directed Eternals. This chick is one of the best directors on the planet. Hamnet is one of the best movies of the year. And what did you do, Kevin Feige? You got your grubby hands on everything. At this point, and I understand why he felt like he needed to before. And I understood why, all these people felt like they couldn't work with him before, because at this point, you're building a universe where you got to the finale. Now it's time to change shit up. Everything should look different. And I tell you how they should break down each and every side of the Marvel universe, right? All these sides that I laid out, right? And who the villains should be in each sides of the Marvel universe. Let's do it. So, tech side. Let's start with the tech side. Advanced Idea Mechanics is a layup. MODOK, you can retcon that and just say MODOK, the way he turned out was just a version of MODOK. Advanced Idea Mechanics studied some sort of like cameras or whatever on Ant-Man's journey to the quantum zone. And you could just say, we can do MODOK better. We can make him a mechanical organism designed only for killing. We can do that. Or a mental organism, whichever one. Mental organism, you know what I'm trying to say. We can do that. We got, I forget his name, the guy that's actually MODOK. He volunteers for a procedure because tech mogul Tony Stark ruined his life. And now he's like, look, I want to be you know what I'm saying? I want to control all this shit. I am one of the smartest men in the world. Please make me into a way where I can take my mental capacity and make me the strongest being in terms of my smarts as well as my technology of anyone in the world. And then he goes through the experiments and he becomes MODOK. And that is an Advanced Idea Mechanics and MODOK. And maybe Monica Rappaccini if you want to do that. If she's the scientist supreme of MODOK. It doesn't matter. I prefer MODOK, but if you want to do Monica Rappaccini, cool. And then you can do where these tech characters are all going against Monica Rappaccini, MODOK, Advanced Idea Mechanics. Those could be the villains of that. Those could be the villains of that, right? And then you can lead to whoever you want. And I give you the tech characters they should use. War Machine, because War Machine has been found now, and I'm gonna get to that. War Machine has been found now, and all that good stuff, right? War Machine, Riri Williams, because she's super into tech, things like that. I would say Shuri, but maybe not her. But other tech characters like that, you can use characters like the Hood, who they introduced in what's it called it in goddamn it in Ironheart, right? Because maybe now, you know what I mean, he's like, oh, you know, I know how that ended, it's fine. Maybe now he's like, oh, you know, I want to, you know, build my smarts up and acquire technology. I know how that ended. Just bear with me. But you know what I'm saying? Like, have like tech characters, things like that. Maybe bring in some of the Iron Man rogues that we didn't see, like Living Laser. Make him a part of Advanced Idea Mechanics. Blizzard, make him a part, or her, if you want to do her, make him or her a part of Advanced Idea Mechanics. Have Riri face those rogues, since Tony really didn't face those rogues. Have her be the center of the tech side of the Marvel Universe. That's one. And then have characters like Scott Lang, who's part of the tech side, and Hank Pym help her and things like that. And have those characters interact on their own little section of the Marvel Universe. That's the tech side. Then mysticism, Mephisto, easily Mephisto. Most powerful, the devil of the Marvel Universe. Have all of these magicians come together, you know what I mean, and face a Mephisto and Blackheart at the same time. You know what I mean? Have them maybe introduce characters like Angela. You got the rights to her now, right? Angela, Brother Voodoo, Moon Knight. I brought up fuck it. You know, fuck it. Even if you don't want to do Mephisto, you can just do Dracula. You can do Dracula. That's the Blade movie right there. And have those characters interact in that section of the universe. You could just say Blade has appeared because now more and more people, he's always been in the background of the Marvel Universe, right? We didn't know he was there, but he's always been in the background of the Marvel Universe. And now Dracula has amassed more power now because now he's converted more people and he has more followers. And you can even do the magician version of Dracula, the way he is in the comics and things like that. And you can have him be who that section of Marvel faces. Maybe get a team together like the Midnight Suns. And those movies and those TV shows feel different from the tech stuff. You know what I mean? You can do that. You could do that. You know what I mean? Mephisto, Dracula, take your pick. Doesn't matter which one. And other people too. Then the cosmic side of the cosmic side. The cosmic side. You introduce the Skrulls, you introduce the Kree. You've danced around the fact that these two factions have been at war for the longest time, blah, blah, blah. Why not just fucking do the Kree-Skrull War? You did Secret Invasion. Here's what you could easily do. This rogue line of Skrulls have come to Earth and have tried to occupy everyone. We had one stand in as Rhodey. And I actually kind of dug that. It's just, you know, they fucked it up. And like, you could be like, they've impersonated many of people that, you know, and maybe people we didn't think about. You know what I mean? And the whole reason they were on Earth is to kidnap people, take their knowledge, take whatever they learned and stuff, and use that knowledge to go fight the Kree. And then you could have these cosmic characters be in the center of the Kree-Skrull War. Thor, the rest of the Guardians of the Galaxy, because the Kree and the Skrulls are two of the biggest societies in all of cosmic Marvel, in all of space. And then you can have groups like the Shi'ar get involved, because now you got X-Men, right? You know what I mean? All these cosmic, you know, characters. You just introduce Galactus. If you want to do Galactus, do Galactus. Have him come. If you want to do that, cool. But you can have, I feel like the Kree-Skrull War is more interesting, but you could do that. You could just have the focus of the cosmic characters be the Kree-Skrull War. And then the culmination of that could be something like, you know, the culmination of the Kree-Skrull War. You know what I mean? You can have maybe characters fight the Kree, and then you can have maybe more Skrulls show up. Maybe some of the Guardians of the Galaxy were Skrulls, and we didn't know that shit. Shit like that. If you're gonna have characters like the Skrulls, you make them interesting. The Skrulls are essentially Invasion of the Body Snatchers. You have access to those characters. Use them that way. And have those movies feel different. Have those movies feel like Star Trek. You know what I mean? Have those feel like exploration and deep thought about, like, you know, what it means to be sentient. Things like that. You know what I mean? Deep themes. Have those fucking movies and those TV shows essentially be Star Trek. Because guess what? The cosmic side of Marvel is very similar to that. Have those feel like they do. Street level characters, I think it's pretty obvious they're already doing it, but lean all the way into it, the fucking Kingpin. The Kingpin Wilson Fisk now controls all of New York, and then now he's trying to make his reach even further than New York. Now he's trying to control all the crime families, maybe all across America. And then you got to get characters like maybe Hawkeye and his version of like the street level West Coast Avengers. You know, maybe you have to do that. Maybe you have to get, you know what I mean? Like I said, Heroes for Hire involved. You know, Misty Knight. Bring back Misty Knight and have her be the MC of all of these characters from all across the country that are street level characters. That's where Shang-Chi can come in because technically he's a street level character. Bring back Colleen Wing. All these characters that can be their boss. And then you do everything to lead up to Devil's Reign, where it's at the point where Kingpin gets all of these characters that were street level villains all together and they go, now is our chance to take not just New York City, but the gangs and the crime families all over the globe, at least all over the U.S. Let's just do the U.S. And then it was like, I actually have help from this group. I control this group now. And that's how you can do the hand. And you can actually do the hand this time. You can have them worship someone, you know, worship the entity known as the Beast. And have maybe Wilson Fisk, you know what I mean? Wilson Fisk be the one to defeat the Beast and contain the Beast and to take the power of the Beast like he did before. Have them follow him, you know what I mean? And then do something as jaded where maybe Daredevil goes too far and he finally kills Fisk and then the Beast possesses him and then you do Shadowland. Do you see what I'm doing here? Do you see what I'm doing here? Each thing that I'm introducing, it all takes place in the same world, but it all feels very different. It's all very different because it's the sandbox of you have the fucking sandbox of the Marvel Universe. Yet you choose to tell these stories the exact same way with the exact same type of characters and the exact same type of stories. You know what I mean? It's so annoying to me. It's so annoying to me that, and it's almost like the Disney formula because Disney has to do this too. It's not just Marvel. Disney does this too. We got to have quippy side character that's funny, and we got to have good guy beats bad guy in this very predictable way. And all the best Marvel stories do not do that. They do not do that. You know why people love Avengers Infinity War so much? Because Thanos snapped and he won. That's why. Shit like that happens like that all the time in the Marvel. Daredevil Born Again is one of the greatest stories in the history of Marvel Comics, and the Kingpin essentially wins at the end of that book. That's shit like that happens in Marvel more often than DC, and I'll talk about like what makes them diametrically opposed. But yeah, that's the street level side. I talked about the mysticism. I talked about the tech characters. I talked about the cosmic characters. Now, let's focus on the political side. Cut the head off. 2 more grows back. Hail Hydra. You didn't have to do anything. You did not have to completely eradicate Hydra. You didn't have to do that. In fact, so much so, you retcon Zemo, and now you actually made him a Baron. Here's what you can do. Maybe you could say Zemo finds out that his origins are all dated all the way back to the earliest days of Hydra. Maybe you find out the first head of Hydra was not the Red Skull. It was Heinrich Zemo. And then Helmut Zemo finds out his origin, finds out his, all that stuff. And then he recruits the remnants of the Hydra agents, motherfuckers like the Serpent Society and Madam Viper, who happens to lead the Serpent Society. There you go. Madam Viper, Madam Hydra. And then Hydra could be your political villains. Now they're infiltrating their way back, you know what I'm saying, through the United States government that they lost the first time. And you can tell the story of Sam Wilson being Black Captain America that nobody trusts, trying to convince people that Hydra is back. And then by the time he does it, it's too fucking late. And then you can do something, since you must bring back Steve Rogers, since you have to bring back Chris Evans, maybe you can use him in an interesting way, since you must do the universe, and you pull alternate Steve Rogers. Steve Rogers is back. Nobody knows why. Why is Steve Rogers back? But it's not just Steve Rogers, it's Captain Hydra. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? It's not hard. They have 90 years of source material to go from. Just adapt this stuff. Just adapt this stuff and then just make everything separate. And you can do all these things. Since you want to oversaturate the stuff, you can do all these things by just separate from each other. And if people don't like one thing, maybe they like this thing. And if some people don't like this thing, maybe they like this thing. But it's all variety. It's all variety, and it all feels different. Everybody could be like, hey man, you don't have to be like, oh man, this new Marvel movie, I have to see it because I got to see this, that one. Everybody knows that each segment of this is different. They know it. And if they don't know, then they're stupid, and that's fine. Don't cater to them people anyway. Fuck them people. Like, who cares? You know what I'm saying? That's all you have to do. Just make it good and interesting and different. And you don't have to have all the characters team up to fight one big person. You can literally just have a big person in each segment of these universes. So let's see. What did I forget? We did Cosmic. That was Kree Skrull War, Galactus. If you must do Galactus, that's fine too. That's fine too. If you want to get even more, you know what I'm saying, more, you know, you could do a lot of stuff. The tech side, you got Advanced Idea Mechanics. Cosmic side, oh, I already said Cosmic. Political side, The Return of Hydra. Street level, Wilson Fisk and the Hand. Let's see what mysticism, Dracula, or you know, Dracula or Mephisto, whichever you want to do. What did I forget? Is that everybody? Yeah, okay, yeah, cool. And the mutants. You can have the mutants be literally their own thing. Completely separate from everyone else. You know what you could do? Since you're so hell-bent on the multiverse, the mutants don't exist in this universe. They don't. We have our version of in the main universe. We have our version in their universe. They have their version of all these characters, right? But mutants are hated and feared because people are afraid that this will be what, you know what I'm saying, what the humans evolve into, and the people that don't evolve are left behind. Superheroes are celebrated because usually there's some sort of scientific method that went into creating these heroes. They created the Hulk. They created Captain America. They created, you know, Iron Man built his armor and all that stuff. Thor is a literal alien, you know what I mean? But these people, they hate and they fear these people because these people were just born. They were just born this way. Or you can do it in the regular Marvel universe. But I feel like it's different. I feel like it hits different when they're completely separate from, you know what I mean? And then, you know, and then you can do where these people are hated and feared because they were born this way. And then you got like, all these, fucking anti-mutant groups. They pop up, and that's how you can just do the X-Men. And you can have the same effect that you always had. And then you can play with time travel and do all the classic X-Men stories away from all these other sections of the Marvel Universe. Marvel is such a huge sandbox. Let people live in the set, and then get people that understand these characters and understand the history of Marvel Comics. Look, Bo DeMaio is a nut job, right? That is the showrunner of X-Men 97. And he is an absolute nut job. But one thing that he was absolutely right about in his diatribes on Twitter is that you need people that love these characters and understand these characters creating the content for these characters. Because now you get to the point where they're just making movies for, just using the formula because Kevin Feige tells them to. Let people cook. Let people cook. I understand why he felt like he couldn't before, but let people cook now and stop worrying about the next big event. Each one of these things can have their own moment in the sun if you build to certain things in each section of these, you know what I mean? Have these set of characters interact, blah, blah, blah. And then maybe, just maybe, like years and years and years from now, maybe you come up with a threat large enough that they all have to come together and fight said threat. And then all of the rewarding stuff that you did in this section of each parts of the universe, years and years from now, maybe then that's when you get your big, your big moment and blah, blah, blah. Maybe then that's when you do it. maybe then that's when Doctor Doom kills the Beyonder, and then you do Secret Wars because you know what, you set up the Beyonder in whatever cosmic side of the Marvel universe that you did. You set up Doctor Doom and whatever those are, whatever that section of the universe is, and then maybe, just maybe, the connective thing that has everything connected is that we see the Beyonder in each one of these sections of the Marvel universe in some sort of way, and then you realize, oh shit, Doctor Doom just killed this guy, and now he has his power. Maybe Wilson Fisk was able to slay the beast that the Hand prays to with help from the Beyonder for a favor, because Beyonder, it's a race of people, but they're shitty. You know what I mean? Maybe, just maybe, advanced idea mechanics, they recreate the cosmic cube, and now the cube actually grants you a wish to fucking, change whatever you want about the universe with power they obtain from the Beyonder. Maybe, just maybe, Dracula is able to boost his power to influence more people with help from the Beyonder. And then you find all this stuff out, and Dr. Doom kills him and takes all his power. And maybe with Doom's ambition, because maybe Doom also was in the tech side. Maybe he appeared in some of the tech stuff in the Marvel Universe because tech is all a part of Dr. Doom. Maybe he also appeared in the mysticism side of the Marvel Universe because, hey, Dr. Doom is a he's a magician. He is a magician. Maybe also because space interests him, he appeared in, like I said, with the Fantastic Four, he appears in the cosmic side of the Marvel Universe, and also maybe in the political side of the Marvel Universe because he is the king of his own country, Latveria. And also, if you want to get the street level folks involved, maybe Wilson Fisk has had dealings with Dr. Doom because he's traveled the globe at this point, and maybe he's met Victor Von Doom, and he knows this nigga. It all can work. It all can work if you just let people cook.